Hello everybody, it's been a while since my last video. Well, what to do? Life got in the way. No exotic location this time, unfortunately, just recording from my home. And the topic of today's video will be a thing I noticed at the World Cup happening right now in Tbilisi in Georgia. And I would say it's not very good news for the 1e4 lovers because we are actually witnessing the return of the Petrov defense. For those of you who don't remember what was going on before the Berlin happened, was that the Petrov was the main headache of white e4 players. Again, it was Kramnik who made it popular in the late 90s, and white players had really big problems dealing with it. But as with any opening that gets highly theoretical, that usually means that it gets also very deeply analyzed and a lot of analysis needs to be memorized. So without any particular reason, the black players started to shift their attention from the Petrov to other openings, notably and mainly the Berlin defense. But at the Tbilisi World Cup we have seen the resurgence of the Petrov, and what I noticed actually is a setup that several black players adopted, which is less theoretical, requires much less memorization, and it is ready to use almost immediately for any black player wanting to achieve a solid and safe position. The setup I have in mind is also quite practical because it is applicable against both main lines by white after 95. Worth noting is that the other main move, like d4, was played by Ivanchuk in the game he won against Giri, but obviously this is another issue, and here black has several ways to obtain good play. The game Ivanchuk-Giri went like this, and we know Giri is very well theoretically prepared, so this should be a good line for black. Anyway, the main line and the main move for white is 95. After d6, knight f3, knight e4. Normally white has two moves, one is d4 and the other one is the popular knight c3. So the setup I have in mind, or the one I would like to draw your attention to, is applicable against both. After knight c3, the setup begins with knight f6. Obviously knight c3 is the main move and it has been played several times in Tbilisi also, but knight f6 is the easier to play option. After d4, bishop e7, let's say h3, because it's useful for white to prevent bishop g4 and then possibly bishop h5, g6, let's say h3, castle, bishop d3, and now something like c6. And we can see the idea behind black's setup, just to go rook e8, knight d7, knight f8, knight g6, then possibly bishop d7. When he has finished development, he has a solid, slightly passive but solid position without weaknesses, and he can wait for white's further plans to see what he can do next. See? Straightforward, easy, no need to memorize anything, no need to know any theory at all. The good thing about it is that after d4, bishop e7, bishop d3, he can do the same. Let's say h3, castle. Now the only difference being that instead of putting a knight on c3, okay, white can play c4. But that doesn't change black's setup in the least. c6, castle, knight d7, and again with all the same stuff, rook e8, knight f8, knight g6, bishop d7. As I said before, if white avoids h3 at some point, it is useful for black to play bishop g4 himself and then possibly exchange these bishops. This is even more favorable for black than playing with the bishop on c8 or later on d7. So see, this is kind of a straightforward, easy to use black repertoire, and if you are kind of comfortable with playing this type of positions, there you go, you can have it, you can play it, you'll get a good position, slightly passive like I said, but no problems at all with it. So this is one of the things I noticed happening in Tbilisi, so I wanted to share it with you. Speaking of openings, make sure you subscribe to my Inner Circle, my newsletter, because you can also check my blog, alexcolovic.com, where you can check also the latest post where I explain that very soon, starting tomorrow, I will start a series of analysis of the openings used by Bobby Fischer in his match in Reykjavik in 1972. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, in opening analysis, psychology, move orders, sequence of implementation of openings, all these things, make sure you subscribe to my Inner Circle, and I can guarantee you will enjoy your Saturday afternoon reading these emails and this analysis. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and till the next time. Take care.